Friederich Nietzsche, that old philosopher, that famous philosopher, created a work called Beyond Good and Evil, which I've never read, but it intrigues me because of what I'm learning in my own life about that very thing. So I think he was onto something. To wit, inside of Christianity, often you hear many epithets, which just means little sayings, that talk about the different ways that human beings justify sin, or how one sin is worse than another, or they basically explore the ways that humans do things wrong, make excuses, make justifications, excuse sin, justify sin. There's a lot of that kind of stuff that goes on. And it's talked about and it's put out there with the idea that once you know it, you stop doing it. Sounds good, right? Well, a lot of things sound good, but they're not really good. So, what can happen is that if there is no legitimate solution to getting over those things, then all that does is enhance your awareness of your own sin and your own fallibility and your own failings, etc., etc., etc. And when that happens for years and years and years and years, eventually some people, not all people, but eventually some people get tired of it, and all kinds of bad things can happen as a result. People walk away from the faith, people reject Christianity, people walk away from God, people get mentally unstable, people deal with anxiety issues, all kinds of negative fallout from what? Focusing on human weakness, human fallibility, human error, while providing no solution for it. This is what religion does to people. Of course, the solution is Christ himself. I didn't say belief about Christ. I didn't say belief in Christ, although that's a good place to start. The solution is Christ himself, the infinite, eternal provider of life and solutions and peace and hope and goodness and all that stuff. But back to my original point, the knowledge of good and evil doesn't do us much good. humanity in general. It really doesn't. In fact, it's actually pinpointed as the original problem in the Bible. God said, don't partake of it, or what? I think we all know what it says. And yet, within Christianity and in other religions, I'm sure, I don't have much experience in other religions, but I imagine it happens. There is so much focus on what? The knowledge of good and evil. And what does it do? It makes you worse and worse and worse. So, Mr. Nietzsche was correct. We do need to get beyond good and evil, because it's not enough for the human race. If it was, we'd have figured it out a long time ago. But it's pretty obvious that we haven't, right? The world just keeps getting more polarized and more angry and more destruction. So, how do we do it? How do we get beyond good and evil? Well, it happens in Christ. Again, I didn't say belief about Christ, and I didn't say proper doctrine about Christ, and I didn't say just believing the Bible or going to church. What I said was Christ. Christ is real. He's infinite. He's big. He's a life-giving spirit. He is the life. There's a realm beyond good and evil. It's called the realm of life, where you get away from all these little epithets and all these little sayings and all these goings around and around and around, stuck on the same stuff with no way off. Thank you, and have a nice day.